won 101 games. The Orioles, the same Orioles, won 101 games. They just replaced their pitching coach. But no, this isn't going where you might expect. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into football and or hockey. I also cover two other teams in Pittsburgh, the Steelers and the Penguins, and offer daily shots on them as well. Yeah, the Orioles hired a guy named Drew French. He was the bullpen coach in Atlanta, and he will be replacing Chris Holt, who for 3 seasons had a dual role as both big league pitching coach and director of pitching. And yeah, I know, I don't care either. I definitely don't care about baseball in Baltimore. However, not a lot of people, even those who follow the Pirates closely, will know that both their pitching coach and their hitting coach, meaning, of course, Oscar Marin and Andy Haynes, hold the responsibility of setting the standards, setting the procedures, setting the bar, really, I guess, for the entire organization as it applies to pitching and hitting. I know that sounds nuts, right? That someone in AA is doing something based on the Oscar Marin pitching philosophy when he won't see these kids like ever, except for maybe a couple of days in Bradenton in February. That's it. That's it. It's a strange responsibility to give to someone who is around the big league operation 162 games a year and is locked in on what's happening right in front of them, day to day, game to game, matchup to matchup. I don't understand that, and I understand it less today than I did before this move that Baltimore made yesterday. The word out of Baltimore is that the reason Holt was bumped up to just take the job of director of pitching is that it was a bit much. There was a lot going on there. So why are the Pirates doing it this way? That's never been laid out specifically by Ben Cherington, but I have heard from within the organization that there are others, pitching coordinator, hitting coordinator in the minors, who have the responsibility to be the ones who are laying their eyes directly on the players, and they do a roving thing. That's the baseball term where they go from affiliate to affiliate, and they make sure that there's someone supervising the pitching coach or hitting coach at hand who's there every single day. And you know what? I'm not going to pretend to play some sort of high-level baseball expert on this. I can't know why that would be a good thing and why what Baltimore's doing now would be a bad thing. It might just be specific to the individual where Holt says, listen, I feel like I can be a lot more effective by doing this and not that. It might be a case where the Orioles just want to bring in French because he's coming from a obviously very successful organization in Atlanta, and they want to add the talent, and this was a move that they made to create an opening. I don't know any of that, okay? So I'm just trying to lay out what other possibilities might be as far as explaining this from any perspective. But I do know this. Marin doesn't make pitchers better in Pittsburgh. He doesn't make the veterans better. He doesn't make the prospects better. The prospects, most concerningly, show up in Pittsburgh pitching at one velocity, and the next thing you know, they're pitching at 5 or 6 miles an hour less than what they'd been pitching. So which side is not getting the attention? Is it the minor league side? Is it the major league side? Or are they both getting attention by someone who just doesn't know what he's doing? I don't have those answers either, but I know this. The Orioles won 101 games last season. The Orioles had the most dynamic farm system in all of baseball for a while. Took a little bit of time to get Adley Rutschman and everybody through their system, but once they got there, they exploded. They exploded in the AL East of all divisions. That's accumulating talent. That's also developing talent. So I'm going to guess that if one organization is doing this wrong and the other one is doing this right, the latter is probably going to be the one with the 101 wins. When we come back, J1Q.
This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern. That's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park.
Your front door, your car, your bike, your computer, your gun. Safety is a habit. Every day you lock and secure your home and everything you want to keep safe. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different and the best way to help prevent accidents, misuse, and theft. If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Visit ProjectChildSafe.org. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Today's J1Q comes from Jim, who asks, DK, is there any chance that the Pirates would trade for Tyler Glasnow or Shane Bieber? Tampa is looking to dump payroll. That would fill 2 starting spots, but would cost about $37 million and a few prospects. As you say, Bob Nutting intends to pay out more dollars this season. This looks like it would be a good spot to spend. One thing I really try to not do, Jim, is to get into fake trades and fake personnel moves, which is what this is. Unless you're asking me if I have specific reporting that the Pirates would be pursuing Glasnow and or Bieber, the answer to that is an emphatic no. I have not picked up a shred of information. By the way, neither has anybody else out of 115 Federal so far this offseason. They've made clear their intentions. Ben Cherington has done that, did it at the GM's meetings. I'm sure he'll do it again next week at the winter meetings in Nashville. But I've not picked up on any names of any kind. And that's why you haven't heard me getting into that here. Now, if you're asking if I think they'll do that, if I answer that, it'll sound like I'm reporting that they're into that, and I really want to do that because it gets really easily confused. You know, he talked about it on the podcast today. Yeah, that they might be interested in Shane Bieber. I don't know that. Why would I say it out loud? But as I did put forth in a show earlier this week, I feel as if the trade path might be more plausible for this team. I feel like if you bring someone over, you pay a baseball price to get them, as you said, some sort of package of prospects and who knows what else. From there, the sign and trade component is going to feel less risky, if only because the pitcher that you're going to get in return is going to be younger. That's the reason it's a sign and trade, because they're players who've yet to achieve their big free agency years. I have not checked in on the Rays in a while. I'll take your word for it that they're cutting payroll. I can't imagine they could cut it very much, though. It's never been very high. And I also know that I wouldn't want to be in the habit of making trades with the Rays. They tend to win their trades because they tend to be smarter than everyone else out there. I think that's safe to say with how consistent they've been despite having the very, very low payrolls. But I'll say, Jim, that I like the way you're thinking versus, let's go spend $1 gazillion on a free agent. I was in favor of someone at the Sonny Gray level. I'm not anywhere near as much in favor of going out and getting a couple of guys that are $10 million a year and they're going to be 4 or 5s or worse. That doesn't excite me at all. I'd rather see some investment from the baseball side and maybe some sort of future in the pitcher who'd be acquired. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. Going to do another one of these tomorrow.